Alright, for the last video, it's about farming. Probably in the previous video you have heard of me saying it, so that's why I said that this is not the farming that you guys are used to it, which is this, but it is farming, start with a PH, which means for pharmaceutical and farming. And this is basically something related to transgenic animal and some of the function of transgenic animal. So this is the term used for processing animals for farming purposes, and it is also referred to as biofarming because they are using live animals. So farming is the production of human pharmaceuticals in farm animals with possible commercialization, and most of the time a lot of it has actually been commercialized. Gene farming is also a technology used by scientists for alteration of animals or insertion of new gene from another species. So the use of transgenic animal in farming are mostly to make human proteins with medicinal value, and livestock are mostly used for the purpose, which means that larger animals. But they are not used or produced for cloning purposes. It's basically they are utilized in terms of some of their products such as milk, egg, or blood to contain incorporated transgene which could be purified for production of protein drugs. So milk and egg are not so uncommon. Some of you may question why blood. Blood is a rich source. They could actually just purify the protein out of the blood. Not basically, we are not going to ingest the blood, so don't worry about that. Now, a group of transgenic animals basically are able to produce human proteins through their milk that could be used for pharmaceuticals. And these animals have been made to express compounds against diabetes, arthritis, hemophilia, emphysema, and gastrointestinal infection, and a whole lot more. However, there are certain organisms which organism to use for production is actually depends on the feasibility, the capability, and also the cost and economic decision of the nation or the company. For certain protein drugs, basically it requires complex modification or needed in large supply, and that is where usually they have to have kind of like collaboration between countries. So farm animals are being used for this purpose because they are advantageous in terms that they are reproducible, they are flexible in terms of production capacity. Usually they are maintained in terms of maintenance of their own supply is actually quite easy, and drug could be delivered in convenient forms such as the milk, the egg, or the blood. So transgenic animals for pharmaceutical production should, these are the two criteria, produce desired drugs at high level and pass its drug production ability to the offspring. Now let's take a look at some of the farming products. This has been in the market for some time, so there are a whole lot more. I'm just taking just a few examples. So probably you can see that this is the name of the product and the description of what the product does. So the recombinant human collagen one, basically is used for protein collagen for tissue repair, has been used a lot in medical world, especially for burn victim and so forth. Now, basically this is not going to be a long video, but this is going to also be the last activity for transgenic animal, activity 6. So what I would like you to is that in 3 minutes or so, well, you can time yourself. If you need more than 3 minutes, fine. If you need less, it's fine as well. This is at your own convenience. What transgenic animal would you like to make and why? So think about it. Now you need to discuss how easy would it be to make the transgenic animal. Would it be beneficial if you were to make the animal? So at least state one benefit. And if you were to sell the transgenic animal, who and where would you sell it? So discuss all these three things, only, well, you can just ask your friends, WhatsApp your friends and ask about it and whatnot. So you could just have a rough discussion, or if you don't want to, just think about it and write down your answer, of course on a piece of paper or in your laptop handphone, and upload it in the provided link in e-learning. I will open up another portal. You can do this during this week because probably you are also preparing for your test. Never mind, it could also be done after the test. I will open up the link up until Thursday. Now, basically we are coming towards the end of this chapter, so let's take a look at the contributions of transgenic animal to human welfare to us. So of course we know that It could benefit us in several areas, such as in agriculture. For breeding purposes, of course, it offered shorter time to develop animal traits. Shorter for some animals, not all. I have to stress that. And it is also another alternative to increase yield. For some, not all. In terms of quality, there is, of course, the stock development that we have seen or observed is based on the size improvement and yield of product. In terms of disease resistance, it is yet to be developed, but of course would be beneficial. Even up until now, in 2020, they are still trying to improve agriculture in terms of the animals being disease resistant, but it's quite hard to do. Now, in terms of medical, we know that there's a lot of contribution of transgenic animal in the medical field. For example, xenotransplantation. So I'm sure you guys know or still remember xenotransplantation, which means that transplantation of organs which may come from transgenic animals. So far, people are still trying, but because there are religion beliefs and objections in some of countries and also among religions, so probably this is going to be quite hard. Second, nutritional supplements and pharmaceuticals. We have seen some of the example in farming just now. So milk producing transgenic animals are used to produce growth hormones and protein for diseases. And the last one I'm putting here, because there's a whole lot more in medical actually, but I'm just highlighting a few. Human gene therapy. We're going to take a look at this in the next chapter, eugenics. So transgenic animal is used to produce substance for defective copies of gene to ensure that those basically are affected by gene deficiency, okay, or a disease which is caused by gene deficiency could be treated. And in the industry, so when I say industry, it doesn't specify or it doesn't mean that I'm only pointing at one industry. So industry as a whole, for example, for material fabrication and safety test of chemical. So animals, transgenic animal has been used. How they are used, that is actually quite unique. You may want to read about it over in Google because I'm not going to explain it here. Right, so just to sum up and summarize, basically transgenic animal has its purposes. There are ways to do that, and as you can see, and hopefully go through the videos and also your notes, you can see that to develop transgenic plant depends on the type of animals. The larger it is, the harder it's going to be. And even though there are lots of gene delivery method, you need to choose the right one or probably use a few methods in combination to make sure that the transgene is expressed and the animal is okay or carries the gene and pass it on to the next generation. So now in this picture, these are the sheeps, the two sheeps on the transgenic sheep that I was talking about in the previous video. So of course, okay, these are pigs. So you can see that one of them has a common snout, which is like pink in color. The other one is a bit glowing. So this is the transgenic pig. And this is transgenic rabbit glowing in the dark. The same goes with a cat. Now, can you imagine if you have a cat, it's a transgenic cat and it glows in the dark. And in the middle of the night when you got up to go to the toilet or to get something in the kitchen and you come across this, just think about that. So this is also in terms of playing around with the GFP, incorporating the animal in GFP. Same goes with monkey and some mice. Now in terms of fish, so these are the fish and one of them is actually the original. Can you guess which one? So we also have transgenic cat, and the differences or comparison between transgenic and control cat. They are at 5 months old, and these are the cats which are transgenic, but they actually contain certain genes, but only in the nail, right? And of course, again, our favorite, mice. Can you see over here? So this probably could be seen clearly. One is glowing, one is not, and apart from the one is actually hairless. Over here, you can see that some part of the tails it is glowing, and some are not. So this is how you can play around with the certain genes in producing transgenic animal. So if you have any queries on this transgenic animal, you can just post it in the forum in e-learning and I will answer it. Okay, so until then, well, good luck for your